Good morning. Man, another weekend down. Another weekend down. I'm going live at the same time as somebody I usually watch. His name's Chad Gracie. He's they do the Gracious 2. He was the drummer for Live, and um most of their topics are pretty good. They just talk about various shit in the music industry and stuff. So Chad Gracie's one of my favorite drummers. So, not one of those. He's not like Neil Peart or John Bonham or even David Grohl, but he's just got a style. He's a mood drummer, is what I would call it. All right. So anyway, but good morning, Michelle. Good to see you. It's Monday. We're gonna be reading out today's daily reflection, the AA daily reflection, and man. A little sore today from moving my daughter's stuff yesterday. Ugh. Gotta go find a chiropractor, man. My back's been out. It's not like out. It's not like it hurts. It just stops working. Like cramps up, it just stops. And I can even tell by the way that I walk that my hips don't lie, as Shakira would say. Hips don't lie. My hips are out. All right. I got a Shakira problem. Shakira. Oh, it's Tuesday. Yes, it is Tuesday. It's because I saw my daughter yesterday. I don't usually see her during the weekday. So, hey, buddy. Yes, you're already purring. Yes, you love your daddy. I love you too, buddy. Always going for the lap. Yeah. Get some love time in with dad. Yeah, we're going to be in the book AA Comes of Age. I have not opened it or even looked at it. Be a surprise for everyone. But I'm pretty sure I've done this reading before in the last 7 years. So good chance I'll be able to keep up with it. Huh? Yes, you are. All right. So, oh, he's got thwacked in the face with the tail. That kind of hurt. It was just the kind of right whip too. It was all stung, man. I'm weird because I mean, even if I like accidentally hit like my arm or elbow or something, my first reaction is ow, whether it hurts or not. I'm a reactive person. Are you okay? And after a while, my wife's like, she kept going, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And so I finally told her, I said, if I swear, if I say a swear word after ow, then I'm actually hurt. If I go, ow, motherfucker, then it actually hurt. She's like, okay. All right. My sober friends on a Tuesday. The thing is Monday, the only difference between Monday and Tuesday for me is that I meet with my therapist. That's it. That's the only difference. So, all right, let's do introductions. Let's get started. Welcome to Daily Trudge. You know my name. If you don't know me by now, then go listen to the other videos. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching live or the rewatch. I got a lot of rewatches. They're the rewatches. Okay. Let's get started. Heather, good morning. Good to see you. So Today we're going to do daily reflections. Morning, Bren. Good to see you. She says, happy Gratitude Tuesday. Gratitude Tuesday. I might steal that. I might have to steal that if my brain remembers it. Not quite awake. Not quite awake. Has it been that long since I shaved already? God, that's so fucking annoying. All right. Group autonomy. Autonomy. What does autonomy mean? Is it like anonymity? Is it like autonomy? Definition of autonomy.
Here's the definition of autonomy: the right or condition of self-government.
So no, it's not like anonymity, is it? Yes, I'm Simply Red. Welcome, Varsity Flash Trading Cards. I want to call you Flash from here on out, but good to have you. Good to have you. What are Varsity Flash Trading Cards? Let us know what that is. I am kind of curious as to what that is. But welcome. Good to have you. The right or condition of self-government. So each group should be autonomous. And what that means is they run on their own. That's what that means, right? One place that I am where, and it's tradition 4, right? What month are we in? We're in 4. And so we're in tradition 4 here. Okay. So every group should be autonomous, right? If an online group is paying rent to a place that is brick and mortar, that is not autonomous. I'm sorry, but what are they paying for? We're paying for a Zoom room, which costs about depending anti-gambling. Good for you, man. Good for you, man. I like that. Good job. What a good idea. Feel free to. I don't usually do this because I don't know you, but I have pretty good intuition. If you want to put in, your links or anything to what you do in chat, go for it. And give you permission to do that, man. If I can help out, I'd like to help out. If it means we're going to help more people, gambling's a huge problem in this world. Gambling can fucking destroy a whole family, man. It can. It's sad. It gets sad. It really does. So anyway, where was I? Autonomy, right? So each group should be autonomous, except in matters affecting AA as a whole or other groups. All right. So let's say I start a new meeting. And Neil. Oh, hi, Neil. Hello, Neil from the UK. It's good to have you. He's like, that was horrible. I know you Americans buy those accents, but that was shit. I do all sorts of voices now, don't I? We were watching The Dark Crystal the other day, and I can do half those voices. And my granddaughter goes, "You do so many voices." Like, yes, I do. All right. So that's probably the best example I can give of and it's broken all the time. I don't know how many times I've gone to a Zoom meeting and they're like, okay, the club's in trouble. We need to help them pay rent. Bullshit, I do. I don't utilize the club. I'm not at the club. I'm not using your power. I'm not using your energy, your AC, your heat. I know I'm using my own. There's a difference. And Zoom, now if it's a hybrid meeting, we're talking about something different. All right. Anyway, enough whining. Not really whining, but it's an example of how I see autonomy being broken. Clara Joyce, the Clarinator. Good morning, Clara. All right, let's get started. Some may think that we have carried the principle of group autonomy to extremes. We're an extreme people, so that's not surprising. For example, in its original long form, Tradition 4 declares any two or three gathered together for sobriety may call themselves an AA group, provided that as a group they have no other affiliation. But this ultra liberty is not so risky as it looks. AA comes of age, page 104 to 105. We're in a meeting right now. There's 5 of us here. There's 5 of us here. This is a meeting in a sense. I would probably call it the longest lead in a meeting or a speaker meeting. But it's also open discussion, is it not? Because we talk a lot here about, it's often that I will say, if you have a different experience than me, please let us know about it. We need to know about different experiences. Mine is not the only one out there. Right? So in a sense, this is also open discussion. It is available for anyone to show up, whether you're alcoholic or not. I do not mind, as long as you're not trying to peddle your mushrooms. Then we have a problem. It's when people jump in and think they can do something. Oh, dear Lord. Cats. Oh my God, they're being so nuts today. All right. As an active alcoholic, I abused every liberty that life afforded. How could AA expect me to respect the ultra liberty bestowed by Tradition 4? Learning respect has come from a lifetime job. It is because we do things, that is the key word. We do things together. I don't decide. The group decides. Even here, I may think, I'm going to tell you why I don't even really look into the topic before I discuss it, because I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what you're going to say. And that can change the course of what we're talking about. It happens often here. Sometimes somebody asks me a question that really doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but it's AA, so it fits. Right? Yeah. We're flexible. We do things as a group. That's why we have the group conscience. That's why we have the group conscious. It is the group conscious that keeps that group doing what it's supposed to be doing. Usually. There's also something called the Abilene effect that happens a lot. I see it a lot in group consciousness, where the popular opinion is the one that's going to be voted on, even though the people in the room don't agree. So speak up and say something. When somebody brings something up and everybody agrees, you know what I do? I'm kind of a dick this way. I take the opposite side on purpose. Yeah. Because we need to talk about the other side. Even if I agree with what they're saying, I'm like, no, we still got to talk about it. What about this? What about that? We're weigh the pros and cons. We're going to take a look at this stuff. Yeah. I get a lot of shit from people of course, there's also several times when I know it's wrong and so I say something. I do it all the time, not just in AA, but in the recovery industry. AA has made me fully accept the necessity of discipline. And we may not admit it. Original had Teddy Pendergrass vocals. Yep, aging myself. Talking about the song "You Don't Know Me by Now" was a Simply Red. It was a cover. Yeah, they did not originally do it. Teddy Pendergrass did. Unless Teddy Pendergrass is the lead singer of Simply Red, but he's not. He always reminds me of Howard Jones. Howard Jones and Simply Red remind me a lot of each other. Anyway, I think it's the hair, right? So discipline and structure sound like bad words, but when a person gets to AA and they are willing, what they are looking for is direction. They're looking for it. These meetings need to be consistent, but they need to be different enough, but they need to stay consistent. It needs to be structured. It does. And the same thing needs to happen each time, or you're going to throw people off. Right. So when I did merchant services, which is the credit card, you run your credit card and blah, 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 blah. Right. So I used to sell the equipment and the processing, things like that. And what you do is you batch out for the day. Okay. And it was written, this is the way it was written. You'll get your money within 24 to 72 hours. But I found this threw people off. So I started saying 2 to 3 business days. 2 or 3 to business days. And they thought of it a little differently. Yep. They did. And I would use, because Thanksgiving's usually the biggest mix up, so I would just use it. I'm like, let's say you batch out on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Well, then you have Thanksgiving, nothing's going to happen. Then you have Friday, which you'll have a day, and then 2 more days. You're not going to see your money until Monday or Tuesday. And now they have a reasonable expectation in their head. I structured it in their mind correctly. Leisure says the 2 words that still stick with me from the early days are unmanageable and structure. Yeah. We tend to think that discipline and structure are bad words, but they are not. A discipline is just repeating it over and over until you got it down. That's a discipline. But when we hear discipline, we think we're going to be grounded for a month. That's not the discipline we're talking about. If I do not assert it from within, then I will pay for it. Let's go ahead and do that because otherwise it sounds really weird. AA has made me fully accept the necessity of discipline in that if I do not assert it from within, then I will pay for it. This applies to groups too. Tradition 4 points me in a spiritual direction in spite of my alcoholic inclinations. And I can appreciate that, right? If you have a good idea, if you think you have a good idea for the group, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Yes, I'm giving some unsolicited advice today. Say it out loud to somebody else first. I'm telling you, say it out loud to somebody else first, because otherwise you're going to put your foot in your mouth in front of the group. Go tell your wife or your husband or your mom or significant other or brother or sister. Somebody that you know that if it is a stupid one, they'll laugh with you and not call you an idiot, right? All right, 104 is where we're going. That's just my experience, man. I have an idea a minute. So even here, there's been times where I opened my mouth and I was full of it. It happens right here. All right. So it talks about, if you're reading along with me, I'm gonna read the paragraph before the last paragraph, if that makes any sense, because it talks about something in tradition 4. Okay. With this letter, the promoter sent his card, which he had already mailed to every group in the United States. It was folded like a golf scorecard. On the outside was printed group so-and-so, place so-and-so, rule number 62. So what had happened is they had built this club, and gosh, was it great. It had education. It gave out money. It had detox. It had treatment. It had AA meetings, and it failed because we got into money and things like that. And there were 61 rules and regulations. Wow. I can barely hold on to 2. Right. So 61 rules and regulations in order to run this club. Way too many, huh? Not very simple. So it failed, and the person that put it together, the promoter, put together a card to send to everybody. And now we follow what's called Rule 62. And Rule 62 is don't take yourself too damn seriously. Now, there's the key. I do not take me seriously, but I take the program very seriously. I do. Very seriously. because life or death for me, just like it is for you. Thus, under tradition 4, an AA group had exercised its right to be wrong. So tradition 4 equates to step 10. Step 10 gives you an individual right to be wrong so you can learn. But here again, as a group, we can grow as a group. Have you ever been part of a group that grows? If not, get to grassroots. You'll be able to experience it. That group is growing. You know, it had a big push in the beginning. Now it's kind of growing small or slowly. Well, it's growing. It's growing according to how God wants it. I can't do anything else. Well, I can. I got joined the professionals committee because I have a bunch of professionals that need to understand AA and who best. It'd be, I could go do it all, but why? When there's a group of people out there doing it already in AA, they're probably doing it much better than I am because they're more practiced at it. So why not use that as a chance to learn? And I know my traditions. I know them very well, but that doesn't mean that there isn't more learning to do. Right? We got to stick to that primary purpose. And our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. We have no other purpose. Right? All right. Moreover, it performed a great service for Alcoholics Anonymous because it had been humbling and willing to apply the lessons it had learned. Okay? Here's the thing. Let's say if you're willing to make the wrong right, then you are right. There you go. Now you're always right. If you admit that you were wrong and make it right, now it's right. And you can get to a place where you don't have to blame and shame and feel guilt. You can even chuckle at yourself a little bit that you actually did that. It's like, oh, that's not really me. That was silly. Well, a group can do it too. No. It had picked itself up with a laugh and gone on to better things. Even the chief architect, standing in the ruins of his dream, could laugh. And that is the acme of humility. It is. Standard. That's what an acme means. It's like in this case, it'd be a standard. Right? So some may think that we have carried the principle of group autonomy to extreme. For example, we just read this, but I'm going to go ahead and read it again just real quick. Tradition 4 declares any two or three gathered together for sobriety may call themselves an AA group, provided that as long as they have no other affiliation. This means that these 2 or 3 alcoholics could try for sobriety in any way they liked. They could disagree with any or all of AA's principles and still call themselves an AA group. I can tell you, there's a lot of somebody was describing a meeting they went to, and it sounded a lot more like Celebrate Recovery to me, but it doesn't matter. They're still an AA group. Oh, I appreciate what they were doing. I guess they have like over 200 people in this Zoom. That sounds overwhelming to me, but what? Wow, man. I think it was more than that. I don't quite remember. But all that energy at once. Yeah. When they brought it up, it took me back to being at AA conferences. And if you've never been to an AA conference, man, maybe grassroots will be one of the people at the next conference. Yeah, see, groups are the ones that get those things going. We could start our own conference and things like that. We could. We're allowed to do that, right? But when you go to a group, when you go to an event like that, a convention, conference, whatever you want to call it, it's more of a convention than it is a conference, right? I've been in rooms where there's been thousands of alcoholics listening to one person speak, and it's fucking moving, man. You step into that room and it's like entering another dimension. If you have, but I'm also a very strong empath, so I can feel all the fucking gratitude, the love, everything going on in there. And when that many people are aimed at one thing, it's so hard to describe. But I'd like you to experience it at some point. Your state, every state has conventions. Just go look for. We have 2 a year. We have spring and fall, I believe, spring, or it might be summer. Sometimes there's summer and winter. Sometimes there's spring or fall, right? Morning, Julia. It's good to see you. But I would highly recommend going to an AA convention and checking it out. But this ultra liberty is not so risky as it looks. In the end, innovators would have to adopt the AA principles, at least some of them, in order to remain sober at all. Now, you can go around breaking principles and things like that, okay, or whatever. But the thing is it's not going to work. That's why we're so comfortable with it. We know that it's only going to last so long before it falls apart. And how do we know that? Experience. Right? I don't know. Since I've been podcasting, I'm telling you, and in the grand scheme of things, I mean, I've been doing this 7 years, hundreds. I have seen hundreds of people like myself come and go. And I always know if they're going to make it. See, they tend to think that the amount of people that show up and give you the likes and loves and the amount of people that follow you is what the success is, but they are wrong. This is recovery. Recovery is not based off that. It is based off attraction, not promotion. You have to have the ideal that helping one person is enough, that I am a worker among workers. Okay. Am I a leader? Sure, I'm a leader. Does that give me any right to do other things that you don't get to? No. No, that's not what it means. It actually comes with more responsibility. There are some days I wish I was still fucking naive about a lot of shit. I just bury my head in the sand, but I'm just not that person, man. I'm not that person. So, but everybody gets the right, even if it's the right to be wrong. I don't know. Here's the thing. If another meeting is created out of spite, it always fails. Always. Never seen one make it that out of spite. Okay. All right. It may stick around for a little bit, but eventually people will catch on because it'll just happen again. It will happen again. A group that is formed out of spite will have a group formed out of spite placed upon them. Yeah. Because the spite comes into the meaning, it'll creep its way into the group conscious. It is an infection. Love some of these people that they're a year and a half sober, and suddenly they think that they know how AA needs to run, or they'll start a group to their particular thing. The thing is if you do that, if you start a group with the wrong intentions, the way that we have things is set up and the way that it works, it will fail because its intentions are wrong. All right. Now, there's plenty of places out there where I see popularity reigning. And by reigning, I don't mean the water raining. I mean reigning as like a ruler, a dictatorship. All right. The closest one, the one we have here is called Free Spiritual Community. They gather people. And they call them AA meetings, but they're not AA meetings. They are, anyway, doesn't matter. All right. If, on the other hand, they found something better than the AA, or if they were able to improve on our methods, then in all probability, we would adopt them adopt what they discovered for general use everywhere. AA hasn't changed in years. It ain't broke, so we don't fix it. There has been nothing, and I've been around AA 35 years. Nothing has changed. No adoptions have been presented that we have not. We've been working on this disease for hundreds of thousands of years. Hundreds of thousands of years, my friends. You're thinking in that short, and we're not any smarter than we were 1,000 years ago. We are not. No, it doesn't. It does not work that way. That takes hundreds of thousands of years for changes to be made in the human psyche. We have not gotten any smarter. We have new innovations. Actually, that's not true. One adoption we did take on was internet. Okay, and Zoom and meetings online. That's not new. I've been doing that. I've been hitting AA meetings online since the mid-90s. AOL. Yeah, we used to have AA meetings on there. Yep. All right. This sort of liberty also prevents AA from becoming a frozen set of dogmatic principles that could not be changed even when obviously wrong. I agree with that. Not every meeting is the same. So find your meeting. Not every meeting is the same, but every meeting is needed because we're different people. We're different people. You know, for me, I'm thinking of one meeting in particular where there's a guy in there and he literally goes by Senor Asshole or this asshole or that asshole. And literally he's an asshole. And people enjoy it. I don't go for name calling. I find it, and if they want to laugh and do that, that's for them, man. Good for them. But I can see the clear-cut anger. I can see the anger. Huh. But it's needed. That meeting is needed. Yeah. Whether I agree with it or not is not a defining factor. So I challenge you, find your meeting. Grassroots, not everybody appreciates grassroots. There's nothing wrong with that. Yesterday, a sponsee, or the day before, a sponsee, quote unquote, he didn't fire me. We just went our separate ways, I guess. You know. But when I first get a sponsee, one of the very first things I tell them is, if you feel like somebody else can help you better, go get them. I am not going to get upset by that. That is not something that upsets me. It's your recovery. I have no control over what you do, nor do I want any. Right? Healthy trial and error have always have their day and place in AA. Of course, any dissident group is urged, though never commanded, to not make any other affiliation. And I don't really see that going on. AA is still pretty good about not making any affiliation, right? And even that part still kind of, I think I'm walking a thin red line on that, which is really why I'm glad I really found this other group so that they can teach me where that line is at. Because sure, I want what I want, okay? And sure, that might be God's will, but there are a set of instructions, there's a set of rules, and if I do it that way, I know that that I will get the best outcome, not Dion's outcome. Right? Leisure says, Mr. Asshole, I don't go for that, but I must remember principles before personalities. You know, that's what it comes down to. Yeah. See, I don't have to go back to that meeting. I just find another meeting. All right. No biggie. Yeah. That's why we have different ones. Obviously, we could not very well have Catholic AA groups, Protestant AA groups, Republican AA groups, Democrat AA groups, or Communist AA groups, nor should AA ally itself with any particular brand of medical or psychiatric treatment. We can cooperate with anyone, but the name Alcoholics Anonymous must be reserved for us only. Can I have any of those? Even though we have AA Agnostica, which is for the agnostics, but that's not really a specialized, it's not like any of these. Agnostics don't have a Bible they use, if that makes sense. Pilots, airline pilots, they have their own AA groups. You're probably never going to see a pilot, right? Leisure, MAGA AA, right? Heather says different strokes for different folks, and so on and so on, and Scooby Dooby Doo. Song goes different strokes for different folks, and so on and so on, and Scooby Dooby Dooby. All right. So there's obviously a line there. Okay. I'm going to do one more paragraph here, and then we will wrap up. Many people wonder how AA can function under such a seeming anarchy. Other societies have to have law enforced and sanctioned and punishment administered by authorized people. Happily for us, we found we need no human authority whatever. We have two authorities which are far more effective. One is benign, the other malign. There is God, our Father, who very simply says, I'm waiting for you to do my will. The other authority is named John Barleycorn, and he says, you better do God's will or I will kill you. Ooh. That's it. All right, so we're going to pick one of those. I like how he puts that. You better do God's will or I'm going to kill you. And that's not a threat. That is a statement of fact. If alcohol could talk, that's probably what it would say. And sometimes he does kill. So when the chips are down, we conform to God's will or perish. At this level, the death sentence hangs over AA member, his group, and AA as a whole. Therefore, we have the full benefits of the murderous politician dictatorship today, but none of their liabilities. So there is authority enough, love enough, and punishment enough without any human being clutching for the handles of power. We don't need human punishment. God will delve it out himself, man. And even then, see, I have found that God's punishment, even if there is one, usually is a change for good in you. Where my punishment would be, well, then they need to be kicked out, or see, my punishments are different. I remember I went to court once, and the punishment was this: Dion, you're going to do 30 days of jail time unless you get your driver's license back before you come back to court. And then if you do that, then we'll drop the charges. Do you see what the judge was doing? He was taking a consequence and making it good in my favor to make me a better person. That's what he was doing. I caught it. All right. Such is AA's backstop against dissolution, its final guarantee of survival under any conditions. For us, it is do or die. It is do or die. Live and let die. We can sing it first. We can sing it first. It was for a James Bond movie called Live and Let Die. So, all right. So we all get, so autonomy comes down to each individual group. Even AA as a whole does not have rules. We have traditions. We have traditions. But the thing is, we find out that we have to follow these traditions. We have to follow these principles, or we will wither and die. The other option is living a joyful, fruitful life. Duran Duran. Duran did a they also did a James Bond movie. They did. Let's find out. What Duran Duran song is for a James Bond movie?
A View to
A View to a
Dance
Kill.
Into the Fire.
Dance into the fire. All right. Good call, Flash. I know you told me your name, but I'd have to scroll and find it. So all right. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.